Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. CalonFM.
Right, where can you take your gal this month?
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. 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 I'm going downtown tonight. What's going on?
Now then, coming up to Theatr Clwyd, ladies and gentlemen, on the 23rd of February, is this brand new production of an old story. It is called When Darkness Falls, and it stars West End actors Thomas Dennis and Tony Timberlake. I caught a word with Tony Timberlake on Thursday afternoon, and we started by talking about, well, what else? The entertainment world during the pandemic. Here he is on the Stage and Screen show, Tony Timberlake.
Oh, I was really lucky, I have to say. It's been pretty bleak for theatres generally. I was really lucky that I was contracted to be in The Mousetrap. So I was one of the lucky actors that reopened theatre in the West End when theatres started to gradually reopen after the pandemic. And then I was lucky enough to get some work last year as well. So I've been very fortunate. A lot of my friends have not been. Yeah. And, of course, you know, theatres are slowly getting back. And people are more confident now about going to the theatre, which is fantastic. And, you know, it's always difficult because at the moment we are... the theatre industry is dealing with a lot of the cuts that the Arts Council has given to many theatres, and I don't know whether you've heard about all this, but you know there's lots of theatres struggling and lots of theatres closing. So you know it's really important when it's very close to your heart that as many people can support live theatre as they can in these very challenging times, and of course people don't have the spare cash that they perhaps might normally have to go to the theatre. So, it's a challenging time. But personally, I was very lucky, and I did have some work to carry me through.
Marvellous. I mean, I think it was fair to say that many of the performers and anybody really in the entertainment industry, they were treated really badly. They were like the forgotten cousin that nobody really cared about.
Yeah. No, and it has been hard, but I think. I think at the moment, because it's very challenging for people at the moment, I think it becomes more and more important that they have something to go to at the theatre that is going to make them perhaps forget some of the worries that they have. Yeah. And I hope that people continue to support live theatre. Yeah.
Definitely. And the bizarre thing as well about the lockdown is at the time I seem to remember people were just constantly saying if this was a drama, if this was a play or a film, you'd never believe it. But and since then lots of films and dramas have been made about the pandemic, and I think you were involved in what can be arguably the best of them all. This England I should say, actually filmed during the pandemic. It was incredible.
It is. I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the last bit of your question, but it is incredible what happened when you think back on it, that we, like you say, if anybody had told us that if you'd watched it in a film, you said, well, that's not believable, how would that have happened? Yeah. And of course then we were in the middle of it, and we were living the nightmare which was the pandemic and COVID, and we were being part of it all, and it has been very brave of lots of people to then go, okay, I think I'm ready now to go into a closed space and perhaps still wear a mask and want to try and claw back some of the life that they had pre-COVID. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been a difficult time.
Yeah. But This England was it was a fantastic bit of work. That's what I was saying to you. It was almost too real, that drama. It was incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, you were talking about this England. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible piece, and an incredible piece to be a very, very small part of. But I think perhaps it might have been very quick to get out, which was a fantastic thing that we knew, that it was going to be released quite quickly. But I think a lot of people now, I think because of the challenges of the cost of living crisis that we're living through at the moment, people want something a little. They don't want to really be reminded about that just yet. I think they want something to distract from their worries rather than then reliving it. But,
absolutely. And on that note, I mean, that takes us more brilliantly onto what you're doing now. I mean, you're in a play. It's called When Darkness Falls. Tell us about it. What's it about?
Okay, yeah. Well, it is a ghost story. And of course, ghost stories seem to be very popular right now. And, I can get asked the question, why do you think they are so popular? And I do think there is something about that rush of adrenaline that we get when we're scared that we quite like. It's almost like when you go to the fairground and you're on a roller coaster and you sort of go, why am I doing this? Why am I scaring myself? And so I understand, we're deep into rehearsals now, and there are some very frightening bits in the piece. It's a story about a man who doesn't really believe in ghosts. And during the course of the play, he is convinced that they exist. It's sort of that. You're in that sort of area. But there are lots of other things that come up as well. And it not only is it hugely entertaining and scary and frightening, but it's quite thought-provoking as well. And I do think the audience will go, leaving the show, thinking and talking about what is a ghost. And which I think is a fantastic thing, that theatre makes people think and discuss the piece that they've seen. So I'm hoping that will happen as well as them being, rather frightened and entertained by both me and my fellow actor Thomas.
But I think I've always thought to stage a ghost story, or indeed a thriller, that must bring its own challenges that aren't there in a normal piece.
Yeah, no, it's true, because there are technically there are things that have to be done in a certain way. And you have to be aware of that. And all things like the setting and the lighting and all of those things have an important impact on telling the story. And so, there are challenges. And of course, there are only two of us in the cast. So it isn't like you can go off stage and go, all right, just run to the loo in this bit, or I'll just have a drink. Yeah. We are on stage constantly. So it is challenging and demanding. But I have to say we are both really enjoying the process of working on it and getting it up on his feet.
It's Thomas Tennis who you're with. It's a two-hander, and as you say,
Thomas Tennis.
Yeah, you're both on stage for the whole thing. Does that have its does it have its benefits and its downsides to that?
Well, I think the big sort of benefit is sometimes you're in big technical shows that have big, I've done lots of big West End shows, and you have huge, great big sets around you, which become huge, great big machines of shows, and an audience can have a very preconceived idea of what the show is going to be, especially if you're a replacement in a long-running show. When it's a newer piece of theatre, they don't have the same expectation, I think. And there's something about two people talking on stage and telling this story that makes it quite intimate, which I think audiences are going to like about it. And it is really old-fashioned storytelling, if you like. So I think there is a big advantage to that, as well as okay, you might not get all the big moving sets and everything, but I think you're going to get really drawn into this story.
Fantastic. You mentioned working in the West End. I believe I was talking to my brother the other day, Phil Snowden. He said,
I know Phil.
Yes, yeah. Indeed. I just mentioned that I was going to be speaking to you today, and he went, "Yeah, I know Tony." But you did Les Mis together, and the big anniversary concert at the O2. That was an amazing show. That O2 show.
Yeah. I mean, and Les Mis is quite a special piece of theatre that, because it's run for a long time. Lots of us have been very lucky to have been a part of it. And it was a big part of my life, and I had great fun working at the Palace Theatre with Phil when it was there.
Yeah.
And a lot of laughs. But it is a great piece of theatre history, which continues to excite audiences, now. It's a brilliant piece. And the O2 thing was a great thing to do. And before that, I'd done the 10th anniversary at the Royal Albert Hall as well. And,
wow.
Of course, the anniversaries are going to keep coming. So, I feel lucky I've been part of two very big, because I did the Mousetrap as well, the longest running play, and then to be part of Les Mis. I've been lucky to be part of those pieces of theatre that are important parts of theatre history.
Fantastic. It must be a wonderful thing to be involved in something that is actually historical. There can't be that many things like that, in a way.
No, that's absolutely true. There aren't, and it's a great story and a great show, and people go back time after time to see it. Yeah, definitely. When Darkness Falls opens on Wednesday this week, on the 8th, and then tours the UK the 23rd to the 25th. You'll be coming up to North Wales in Mold. Have you played Mold before? No, I haven't, and I'm really excited about going there. And actually, I visited some friends up that way at the end of last year, and we went round to Mold to have a look at the theatre. And I know it's an incredibly important resource for the community up there. So I'm really looking forward to playing the theatre because I've never played it.
Yeah, fantastic. It is a lovely. It's got a lovely feel to it. It's It was opened in 1977 by the Queen, but it still feels quite new. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's got a very loyal audience, I hear.
Yeah, 100%. Everybody, they come back time and time again. But this one is, I like the fact that it's got a warning attached to it. When Darkness Falls, not suitable for under 15s, which sounds great for me. Anybody that's a fan of Haunting of Hill House, this is for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And doesn't Clwyd also, Theatr Clwyd, do a great pantomime every year, I've heard? Oh,
incredible. It's a rock and roll show. It's a full-on, it's more like a gig than a panto. It's incredible. It really is. Yeah.
Really looking forward to coming up there.
Brilliant. Tony Timberlake, it's been a treat to speak to you this afternoon. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Andy.
No worries.
And I hope to see you there. Please do come and make yourself known to me if you come and see the show.
Will do.
25th of February.
Definitely, yeah. 23rd to the 25th of February. Fantastic. You take care of yourself, mate. Thanks ever so much.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
cheers.
Andy.
Take care. Bye-bye. Going up to Theatr Clwyd on the 23rd until the 25th of February when Darkness Falls. To get tickets for Theatr Clwyd, for that production and indeed any other production up there, 01352 344 101, 01352 344 101. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. They won't be there forever if you don't.
Your town, your station, your voice. Andy Snowden. CalonFM.